This weekend, Coach, against Truman. Tough loss against Quincy on Saturday. What was the main difference between your Thursday victory and a trying loss on Saturday, you'd say?
Well, I told our guys after the game, we got out tough down the stretch. Tigerelli got after us a little bit. He shot 15 free throws for the game. We turned the ball over 20 times. We didn't execute. So there was a number of things that went wrong. It wasn't one play. It was a series of small things that added up to a crucial loss for us. So back to the drawing board this week. Hopefully these guys understand how important this last stretch of games are. So but we'll be prepared and ready to go. But, just a tough weekend for us. We played two really good basketball teams in Truman State and Quincy. Unfortunately, we split. Wanted to get both, but, we didn't. So back to the drawing board.
Is Joseph Tigerelli as good as advertised?
He's physical. He gets fouled. He shot 16 free throws for the game. I was referencing his numbers to our team yesterday. Jesse Kimson plays 2 games, shoot no free throws, and he's a post guy. So that's very unrare. So we got to get ourselves into the mindset as big guys that we're going to get fouled. Now, I'm not saying he didn't get fouled, but he shot no free throws for 2 basketball games, and that's rare across the board when you get your starting power forward or center, rather, not shooting any free throws for 2 games.
Now, what about Velke? I know that he's top 5 in the conference in scoring. You guys did a decent job of shutting him down, though.
Yeah, we shut him down, but we forgot about others. If you remember, they had a kid come off the bench and had, 13, 15 points. So we always try to shut down the main source, but not forget about others. And in this case, we forgot about a couple guys off the bench who came in and hurt us.
So this week you got 2 more games. You're nearing the end of the season. I know the season's really flown by, it almost seems like. But it's been, a different season, as I've talked to you about before, because of the last 3 seasons you guys have never lost more than, 8 or 9 games per year. How's it been for you? Well,
it's been a struggle, but, these are the things you go through as student athletes, as coaches. It's going to be some up and down years. Fortunately for us, we had 6 pretty good years of success. And this has been a down year, but it's not over yet. There's a lot of ball left to be played. We still in good shape for postseason play. So you can't hang your head on the record right now at this point because we're still in the hunt. Unfortunately, we got off to a pretty slow start, but, here's second semester. We had a pretty good run so far. So, like I said, there's a lot of ball left to be played, and I'm excited about, what's to come.
What's that one loss that you look back at so far and you're like, man, we had that?
I think there's a number of them. We talked about this yesterday. The Ashland loss here early on, tough loss that we should have won. We should have won at Lake State, even though they jumped on us pretty early. We just wasn't prepared, ready to go. The Nova Southeastern loss really hurts because we shot ourselves in the foot. We turned it over about 5 or 6 times in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the ball game, but inexperience kicked in right there. So those are 3 that really sticks out in my mind. And then that Bellarmine loss, I feel like, especially with the way we played against Southern Indiana on Saturday, I think that Bellarmine loss is one that we can definitely get if we had it played again.
So, I've talked about this, of course, before as well, and it's just kind of been an evolving topic over the season, but I think it's just amazing how Eric's really evolved this game this year. His first 2 years, people really relied on him as a 3-point threat, and that's what he's still known for, but the way he's evolved this game this year, how much different is that from what you've seen from him the previous 2?
It's a whole lot different. Eric shot 54% from 3 for the month of January. That's unbelievable. But he's turned into a different player, different person. He's done a great job over the summer, of course, of, just getting himself quicker, stronger, faster. Increased his range, by 2 steps. And ball handling is pretty good now because he's now making pretty good reads. When guys close out to him, he's putting the ball on the deck a little more. So that's a benefit for us, especially with him going into his senior year. I'm sure he's going to do that a whole lot more.
What about AJ? Thursday night, you looked at his numbers. He had
24,
and then most importantly, 4 steals on the defensive side.
Well, AJ we track deflections, of course, and I think I mentioned this before. He and Micah Rosser, I think they average about 9 deflections a game. In this particular case against Truman, 4 steals. He probably had about 7 deflections with the 4 steals. So he's playing well. Struggled a little bit Saturday against Quincy, but it was coming. He had quite a few good games, but struggled against Quincy. But Thursday night he was pretty good for us down the stretch.
You guys shot 61% on Thursday night, which is spectacular. And you turned the ball over 15 times, though. Which one's the what's the number that stands out more?
The turnovers. We can shoot the ball, but we averaged 10. Going into the weekend last week, we averaged 10 turnovers a game. And then you take 2 games, 35 turnovers in 2 games. You're not going to win very many ball games turning the ball over that much, especially 20 times on Saturday and 15 on Thursday. We were lucky to get out of there on Thursday at Truman because we shot the ball well. But you turn it over 20 times, that's just 20 less possessions that you get to have. I told our guys if we'd have turned it over 10 times opposed to 20 or even 15, that's 5 or 10 more possessions that we had a chance to have and probably score on. But you live and learn. You learn from your wins and losses. So we went back. We clipped both games. Our guys had a chance to look at it, and practice has been pretty good this week.
What's your ideal – I mean, I know 0, but, what's your ideal number for amount of turnovers you guys commit during the game?
10 is a good number. The game is so fast-paced, so many good athletes. I think 10 it's a great number. You want to stay in that 10 to 12 ballpark, especially when you have experienced guards that we have. But, 10 to 12 is a good ballpark. And trust me, we're going to get better at it. It's just one of those things where we were careless. We tried to force plays that wasn't there. Our spacing was bad on offense, and, we just got to slow down a little bit and make, better reads.
Yeah, 20 turnovers Saturday led to 19 Quincy points. But I want to ask you about somebody else while I'm thinking about it. Jimmy, seems like he's really stepped up his scoring the last couple of weeks. Would you say that's nothing that surprises you?
Not at all. Jimmy took a back seat last year as a freshman to Jordan Lloyd and Lucas and Joe Reddick. Early on in the season this year, he kind of took a back seat to Eric and Alex and Jesse because he's a team guy. Here's second semester, we talked to Jimmy about taking more in the scoring role, more of a leadership role. He's already a captain, but just being more vocal in terms of, being more demanding. He's done that. That puts added pressure on him because now that he's demanding on other guys, that makes him have to do more. And we call upon Jimmy to score the ball a little more, look for his offense, and he's been pretty good at it.
Tate, I know that his numbers, every night they're not outstanding, but he puts up solid numbers. It seems like every night he steps on the floor. How impressed have you been with his first year here?
Well, as a freshman, that's very impressive. We're now trying to, get Tate to put the ball on the floor more. He shot a whole lot of threes to this point, but he's a shooter. But over half of his shots are from 3. In due time, he's going to learn to make better reads versus just being a spot-up shooter or a three-point guy. He's a matchup nightmare when he's going. If you think about it, he started early on for us, and then we shifted the lineup I don't know how many times to try to get it right. And we think we found something here with our lineup, but at the same time, Tate and A.J. Lawton are good 6th and 7th men off the bench for us, and they've been great at it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about your lineup. This is the same lineup I think you used for the last 11 games. What have you seen in these 5 that you haven't seen in the other ones?
Well, I think these guys, this group gets us off to a better start. AJ could easily start. Tate could easily start. But this group of guys gets us off to a better start. And with AJ and Tate, they've kind of embraced that role of 6th and 7th man. So I don't want to break up that from a mentality standpoint. There's times when Milos plays about 2 minutes out the gate and we go small or Rada come in. But it's just one of those things where I feel good about the way we're starting, and I think our guys do as well. So we're going to keep that going here unless something happens that warrants change, but I like the way we're starting right now.
I wanted to ask you about something a little off topic, but it was something that was kind of big in the news last week. Kind of one of your partner schools, I guess. You guys switch who you guys play during the conference season. St. Joe's, and I know you heard about everything that's happening there. Initial thoughts?
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to everyone that's affected by the situation at St. Joe. It's very unrare that a university closes, and in our own backyard, in our own state, it's sad. I'm really good friends with Tom Church over there, the head coach at St. Joe, and he and I have talked a number of times about the situation, and it's unfortunate. You know, he's got to pick up the pieces now and move his wife and kid and kid is expecting to a different place. And then you think about all the student athletes, the students, the employees at the university. Everybody's got to pick up and move. And it's so unfortunate that this is happening. But you know, I feel pretty good that everybody that's affected by the situation will pick up and move on at some point. I'm fortunate to be in the situation that I'm in. I'm happy that it's not us here at the university, but at the same time, I'm sad and my heart goes out to everyone that's affected, and they remain in my prayers.
Now, looking up to this upcoming week, you guys got William Jewell, you got Rockhurst, and well, the first question I'm going to ask you when I see those two teams is, you a little thankful that you don't have to travel 8 hours this year down there to visit them?
Well, traveling is part of the process, but you know, we've been on the road quite a bit. As you can hear my voice, I'm still trying to get over my cold from last week's travel, but we've been traveling quite a bit. But it's part of the process. It's what I signed up for. I don't mind it, but it's also great to be home. But when you go to Wim and Jewell and Rockhurst, you're in Kansas City, so it's a great city. But big weekend for us. We talked about we set goals every year as a team. When we were 3-7, our goal was to be 10-7 going into Bellarmine, and we accomplished that goal.
Cool. And
you know, we wanted to win out, but we lost against Quincy. So our new goal now is to finish 5-0, finish the season 5-0 rather, and worry about postseason later. But you know, tough weekend for us, especially with these two teams coming in. If you recall, Jewell played us pretty good last year at their place, overtime. And then Rockhurst beat us. So there's no easy games in this league. So it's going to be a tough weekend for us, but it's a challenge that I know our guys will embrace.
Both teams, what challenge do they present to your team?
Well, we got to do a better job of keeping teams out of the paint. You know, that's the number one issue right there. That's Jewell. I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked at Rockhurst yet. I never overlook a team. I always focus in on one guy. That's why we have advanced scouts. So our assistant coaches who's working on Rockhurst should be ready to go. If I walk in right now and say, let's talk about Rockhurst, I'm sure they're ready to go. But I never, as a head coach, worry about the Saturday. I always worry about the game in front. So I have no idea who's on Rockhurst's roster. I have no clue. I couldn't tell you one guy on that roster. I'm serious. I don't know what they run on offense. I worry about Wim Jewell because that's our first opponent. So we got to keep these guys out of the paint. We got to, you know, we have to establish a post. Jesse Kimpson has to shoot more free throws than he did over the weekend. And that's not hard to do. He shot 0 free throws in 2 games, so want to be more. But we got to get our bigs to the free throw line more. We got to take care of the ball, of course, and really lock in on our help side defense. It was not very good against Quincy on Saturday, and not good at all against Truman on Thursday. So those are the things we got to work on. Yesterday's practice was about us, you know, and then Tuesday, Wednesday we'll focus in on William Jewell. But we try to focus on the things we did bad the past 2 games in Monday's practice, and I think we've done that. So really excited about, you know, being back home, having a chance to defend home court and getting our guys back on the court.
Yeah, this is your guys' 8th and 9th home games of the year. You played 13 on the road. But how many hours, or do you give it a night, until you started looking at the Saturday team on Thursday night?
I'm sorry, repeat.
Like, after the game on Thursday, do you give it a couple hours or do you?
All right, here's how we go. And a lot of people don't know this, but it's good you asked this question. So we finish the game on Thursday night. We talk to our team. We do radio. I do radio, rather. And we'll go up to the office and spend about 10 minutes on the Thursday night game talking about the things we did bad or wrong. Sometimes it's 20, 30. As soon as that's over with, I turn to the guy who has the scout. We talk about it right away. We'll watch a clip tape. We'll go over matchups. We'll talk personnel a little bit. And then I'll take they'll always put 3 or 4 games on my computer for me to take home, because now I have an idea from watching the clip tape exactly what each player does and the plays that they run. And then I'll have a chance while driving home, and once I make it home, to decide how I want to defend certain plays. The assistants do a great job of giving me their recommendations, but sometimes we go with it, sometimes we don't. And between me staying up all night thinking about it, and tossing and turning, of course, and getting to the office on Friday morning, I kind of have a game plan in place. I usually arrive to the office between 8 and 9 a.m. after I put my daughter in the school bus. And we'll go into the war room, we call it, where we watch film and prepare for the next opponent. And we'll spend the whole day before 3 o'clock practice preparing for the next opponent. Sometime I'll be able to watch a game, but just depending on how the game went Thursday night. I'll sometimes go back and watch the game Thursday night, or I'll move ahead and watch the next opponent. But we'll watch between Thursday and Saturday game. We'll probably watch about 6 games of the opponent.
Average number of hours per sleep you get Thursday night?
Oh, my. I think about 5.
It's not bad.
5, yeah. I get about 5. So if you think about I'll get home about midnight after a Thursday night game. And
so the wife and the kids are already –
They're already down. They're already down. So I get up every morning, and I think as a coach, you miss so much family time. I feel like it's my job to get up every morning, prepare breakfast for my daughter, and walk her to the school bus. That's just part of being a father. And I get up and I actually cook breakfast for my daughter every day.
What are you the best cook at?
She loves bacon and eggs and
Nice.
pancakes. So she probably does that about twice a week. And then I mix up with waffles and cheese omelets, strudels. So I get up every morning and make her breakfast and walk her to the bus stop when I'm here, because I miss so much time of doing other things. I miss dinner a lot, And then after a long road trip, for example, last week when we were away, I go to her school on Mondays and have lunch with her at 11:30 on Mondays. So it's a tremendous. They sacrifice so much for me that I gotta try to. I'll never catch up, with so much time away from home. But it's part of the process. It's a quality of life that we enjoy. They enjoy it, and my wife and I, we kind of balance each other out with what we do in terms of making sure Kennedy's okay. But it's something I wouldn't trade. I love what I do. I love being around the guys. I love being around the sport. I love the competitive part of it, and I love doing it. I've been around it my whole life, and we love it. So,
do they come to a majority of your home games?
Yeah, they do. They come to. It's tough on Thursday nights because my daughter has school. We try to put her in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. So there was one exception this year. She came to the Bellarmine game, so. But the Thursday night games, they'll probably come for a half unless it's a good game. And they'll leave and go home and prepare for school the next day. But they don't miss a Saturday game. And for the most part, road games they attend. And, of course, they came down to the Florida games because it's 80 degrees in December.
Probably stay down there a few extra days.
Yeah, we did. We spent extra 6 or 7 days down there. But we traveled well. A lot of our student-athletes' families came down, and a lot of our student-athletes' families come to games. I remember when I first took the job here 9 years ago. Can you believe it's been that long?
Nope, I can't.
I would look up in the stands, and we had it was maybe 20, 30 of people, 20, 30 people of our student athletes' parents in the stands. And now it's unbelievable how it's changed over the course of 9 years. So we're fortunate to have the support that we get now. I think we've done a good job as administrators of getting it out there that we have games, from sports information to the coaches to word of mouth. We have a good product here, and we're starting to see the results of our good product on the court with the people in the seats.
Well, Coach, you got 5 left. You got Jewel, Rockhurst, Lewis, Parkside, who always gives you a test, and then St. Joseph's. I think you're actually the last game that St. Joseph's will play, at least until the 2018-19 year. I'm not sure if they're going to open back up or not. But yeah.
No, it's officially
It's
a done deal. It's been announced, at least I read on the internet, and it's official. It's going to happen. But big weekend here at UIndy. It's Hall of Fame weekend. We have a number of people getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Ron Rutland, I don't know if you got to – next time we talk, we need to talk about Ron Rutland. He was a student athlete long before my time. I think he played with Gary Paul. But
I've heard about him.
Yeah, Gary Paul was a really good player. But Ron Rutland was as well. And congratulations to all the inductees, especially former men's basketball player Ron Rutland, who's getting inducted. I'm really happy to be a part of it. We have a reception on Friday night, and then the ceremony is on Saturday, and I'll be front and center there, just really showing my support for all the Hall of Famers, especially Ron Rutland, because he's been a part of this program for years, still coming around, and just a great guy. Was a great basketball player, but a great guy and has a great family.
Well, that'll be a topic of conversation for us next week, Coach. All the best of luck on starting that 5-game winning streak in the season.
Thank you. Go Hounds.
Greyhounds back at home this weekend for the start of a 4-game homestand. Thursday, they face off against William Jewell, the women's team. That tips off at 5:30. Men's game will follow that. Saturday, Rockhurst comes to town, tip at 1 o'clock for the women's game. The men's game will follow that one. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll talk to you all next week.